dork like me to sit in this chair and claim what's bad. But what does it say when the creators of a show admit something they produced is crap? In the DVD commentary that came with the third season of Xena Warrior Princess, just about everyone from Lucy Lawless to executive producer Rob Tappert said that the episode Vanishing Act was far from their best work.
Vanishing Act had to be the stinker of all time. There was also
I don't know about all time.
The crux of the whole episode seemed to be about melting a gold statue down.
You might be lucky if you get one great episode, and the rest could stink.
What were we thinking?
What's more amazing is that this was an Autolycus episode. How do you make a show featuring Bruce freaking Campbell and screw it up? Well, let's find out as we get into Xena Warrior Princess Vanishing Act. So the episode begins with this village that is united through this giant statue of peace called Pax.
We are gathered today from many villages for our annual celebration of Pax, the personification of peace.
If this show was produced today, that's where the Greek 99%ers would be occupying. The next morning, though, the statue is missing, and guess who just happens to be in town at the same time?
It would not be immodest to say that that's the greatest theft ever. There's only one problem.
And what's that, genius?
I didn't do it.
But Autolycus insists he didn't steal the statue and wants Xena to help him find out who did and get it back so he can keep his title.
If I don't find out who did and steal it back...
You're no longer the king of thieves. It's not called stealing if you retrieve stolen property for the rightful owners.
No, not if you go in there busting heads like you usually do. But if you use finesse and steal it out from under their noses without them knowing it, that counts as stealing.
The fact that that makes no sense to me is probably why my thieving skill on RuneScape is non-existent. And Autolycus guilts her into doing it by playing the card of when she possessed his body back when she was somewhat dead a year ago and helped restore her. You know, I'm starting to realize a lot of the stories on this show were weird.
There's a deep furrow in the seabed.
So the statue was toppled over and dragged out of the harbor by ship.
Exactly.
Okay, I know we're dealing with the fantastical world of Xena here, but some things are just beyond belief. You're telling us that a huge statue made of solid gold was dragged across the sea like a tow truck, that they could have been able to tow it on a ship with nothing but the power of human rowing in a time of no mechanical propulsion systems? And that's just assuming the thieves had enough rope to keep the statue at the sea floor, or else it would have pulled down and sunk the whole ship. You know, you could have just claimed that the thief made a deal with one of the new gods you created just for this show to transport the thing out of there. Oh, but that wouldn't be the finesse of someone trying to become the king of thieves. Yeah, now I'm starting to see what's wrong here. Meanwhile, we get this whole exposition on how Autolycus became a thief.
He stole everything from the merchant who killed his brother. He left him with nothing, just a broken man.
You see, that was Autolycus's defining moment. He'll always think of himself as a thief.
It's actually a pretty touching story, although I can't help but wonder if it's just meant to be some plot point or something.
I need to ship some rather, delicate cargo. Can't help you. Good centurion, bad centurion. Put a little pressure on him.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have told her the word pressure.
Now tell us who shipped out that statue.
Psychological pressure. It was Tarsus. Tarsus? Of Syros?
Yeah. You know it?
Yeah, we have a history of sorts.
As the three travel to Tarsus's island, Autolycus decides the best plan is to disguise themselves as fences bidding on the statue.
Darling!
Ezra, nice to meet you.
Charmed, I'm sure.
This is Myopia. She's also interested in the statue.
Myopia, I've heard of you. They say you used to be good looking. This is my assistant, Bentley.
What's an unfortunate name?
Well, Mother had quite the sense of humor.
And yet, after 25 years of watching Bugs Bunny disguises, I can totally see these as believable.
You can't melt the statue down.
Why not?
Because it gets gooey.
Something wrong with the furnace. It's losing heat.
What? I thought you were running a classy operation here.
The action of Xena Warrior Princess, wrecking a furnace to prevent a statue from being melted down. While Autolycus searches the place, Xena and Gabrielle have to keep Tarsus busy by bidding on the statue. Once he devises a way to steal it back, you would think they'd stop the bidding, but apparently Gabrielle is tired of having the smaller bust size or something.
350.
400,000 dinars. And I'll throw in the ring of Apollo.
Let her have it.
You just had to outbid me, didn't you?
You outbid me first.
It's a wonder you didn't go even higher.
Right, like I can top the ring of Apollo.
Gee, it almost seems like these two have tension between them or something. Yeah, this one requires backstory. The third season had this whole big story arc involving the coming of some demonic god named Dayhawk that was meant to put Xena and Gabrielle through personal hell. It started when Gabrielle killed for the first time and was then forced to bear this world's equivalent of Damien or something, just go with it. Then when she refused to kill the child, it grew at a rapid rate and killed Xena's son, completely fracturing their relationship and forcing them to reconcile in some musical hell world called Illusia in the first musical episode, The Bittersweet. It really seems like this whole scene was shoehorned in just to suggest that the two still had issues between them in order to set up the big climax that was to come in the season finale. So, yeah, it basically contributes nothing here.
I kid you not, it was this big.
Oh. To Autolycus, the former king of thieves.
Yes, surprise, surprise! Tarsus is the one who killed Autolycus' brother and the one he stole from all those years ago. And yeah, it's still a very formulaic story, so it's not like anyone with a brain wouldn't have seen it coming, but when the episode originally aired, they gave that little tidbit away in the promo that aired right before the episode. It's almost like the studio hoped people would turn the show off after giving away the twist in advance because they knew their audience would see how stupid the whole episode was.
Otto, baby, you promised me this was gonna work. You're supposed to be the king of thieves. You gotta believe me. He put me up to this. You know how he is with that charm of his. He's so shallow yet so persuasive. I'm not really a bad person. I just fell in love with the wrong man at the wrong time.
Shut up!
So if an actress plays the part of someone putting on a bad act, does that make it a good act? Well, I'll say this about Lucy, she gives it her all. Now, rather than just killing the two of them, Tarsus thinks that leaving them tied and chained up with guards, only keeping watch outside the cell doors, is a good idea.
I killed your brother. I stole your mantle as king of thieves. And soon I'll be delivering you to your executioners.
Help me. Help me.
So yeah, that was incredibly stupid. Personally, I'm finding it harder to believe that this guy could really become the king of thieves. If Autolycus was the guy who stole everything from Tarsus, wouldn't Tarsus have been able to see right through his disguise due to his image being burned into his brain? For that matter, now that I think of it more, how has Xena been able to hide behind so many disguises after all this time when just about everyone north of the Roman Empire would likely know what she looks like by now? Yeah, she's got lookalikes all over the place, but how many people know that? And even if Tarsa still doesn't know that that was Xena, he still knows by now that this is Autolycus, the king of thieves. Okay, he actually gives a reason for not just killing him, as he'll instead sell him to anyone with a reward out for him, which seems in character. But even with all those locks, he doesn't think that having at least one guard keep visual watch on his body at all times is absolutely essential? In one decision, this guy makes Gargamel look like a freaking genius by comparison. Heck, even Xena isn't worried that it's impossible for him to get out, which is why she's still willing to do things his way, whatever that plan is.
200 locks?
Yes.
No.
It's gonna take him at least an hour to get out of that lock.
64.
I found everything that we need to go through with this plan.
But by morning, there's a problem with the plan, as Autolycus escaped but didn't show. Because Xena can deduce like Sherlock Holmes, she immediately realized what's happening.
He's going to kill Tarsus.
Xena, Autolycus isn't a killer. Not even to avenge his brother's death.
He'd be a good one, think about it. With his skills of disguise and escape, he'd be one of the best.
That's if he crosses the line.
We're not gonna let him.
Okay, is Xena trying to convince Gabrielle of this? Or is this Lucy trying to make the audience believe that this plot twist makes any sense? That getting captured and taunted by his old enemy is enough for the coolest cat in all of ancient Greece to snap and decide that after all this time of asking Xena to do things his way, he says, screw it, I'm doing it her way. Throw in a flat-out lesbian scene with Xena and Gabrielle, and you've got someone's bad fan fiction. And no, that's a joke on fan fiction. My no gay joke rule still stands.
Most people would think you had every right to act as his judge. But I'm asking you, what would Malicus think? He gave everything to see that you became a good person. Tarsus may have created the thief, but it was Malicus who gave the thief his heart.
3 minutes that plot twist all lasted. So glad we had it. If you think about it, this whole scene means that either Xena is the greatest negotiator in all the world, or Autolycus was about to make the biggest mistake of his life just because he had a bad day. But at least after that, we finally get to a good old fight scene like this show is known for. You know, I'm just gonna throw in another viewer poll for the hell of it. Breastplate or midriff? You make the call!
General, your timing is perfect. Arrest these people. They're trying to deprive you of your gold. But the statue is right there against that... But it was there. I stole it.
You stole it? Now, how can that be? Obviously, it's not even here.
You ever offer me goods you don't have again, I'll slice your throat.
I'm a vicious warlord and you just wasted my time for nothing, but I just don't feel like killing today.
Now let's get that statue back.
You know the problem with your greatest work? You can never tell anyone how you did it.
Wait! That was the plan! They just camouflaged the statue, which would have been completely ruined had just one person looked from a different angle? I guess we should be thankful that the villains in this show all have tunnel vision. And so, the next morning, the statue is returned through plot convenience, and the episode ends with Autolycus coming on to Xena and stiffing Gabrielle.
You are the second best thief I've ever met. And if you ever need to get inside my body again, you just look me up.
Rim shot!
Gabrielle,
Yes?
you'll miss me.
Don't worry, Gabby, I always preferred you. But this episode can go straight to Tartarus! Okay, given the show's reputation for camp and ridiculousness, it may not be that bad, but it's definitely weak. The plot requires characters to act out of character or outright stupid, and there's a whole sense that the main purpose, along with trying to advance Autolycus' character, was to further the plot of the season's main story arc without being directly connected to it, which is just poor story writing. But I guess I should be thankful this episode didn't feature Joxer, or else his haters would have had even more to fling at him. Yeah, I like the guy, don't judge me! See you next time on TV Trash.